I love watching different interpretations of what became classic Disney films, obviously with Snow White being Disney's first feature. Many other production companies have gone on to interpret the film in their own way. I think the 1990 version, produced by Golden Films, is the first animation that I've seen outside of Disney's. To the best of my recollection, I think this is the first Snow White animation that I've seen after, and I'm really quite, well, I have several thoughts, but I will say I did enjoy watching it. There are a lot of things in the dialogue, particularly the interaction between the dwarfs, and just some of the remarks they come out with are just, they're a lot more witty and, you know, quite snide sometimes, and it doesn't take itself as seriously as the Disney one, let's put it that way. It does follow the general principle of Snow White being brought up by her evil stepmother, and there being a magic mirror. The magic mirror is comical. This does feel like a parody, almost, in the traditional sense, not in the broader sense. Particularly when you get to the names of the dwarfs, which I'll talk about in a moment. But the general setup is pretty much the same. The apple is present. There are apples in this, but I think it takes, from what I remember, it actually takes some more things from the original story than what Disney does. I could be wrong, it's been a while since I read it, but certainly I can understand a lot of the decisions they made and can feel where they made certain decisions that were certainly very different to Disney. And some people say it's not fair to continue to compare it to Disney, but it's physically impossible to watch any classic animation that very much copies Disney in some way or another. But obviously it's not a Disney original. It is just its own interpretation. And I have to say I'm quite pleased that it's not word for word, scene for scene, very similar. The dwarfs are all called Joe, to the best of my knowledge. I think it was Joe. They all had the same name apart from, I think, like one dwarf, which was pretty interesting. I also feel like they're a lot more realistic looking. Like they actually look just like, you know, humans with dwarf syndrome rather than, or dwarfism, rather than these weird mythical creatures that Disney turned them into. So I actually thought that was pretty decent. They're also very self-aware. One of my favourite bits was where they talked about how, you know, they've been mining gold for decades and generations, but they're actually, they've never found the gold. They've never actually been able to mine it successfully, and that's why they're still living 7 people cramped in a little cottage. So, you know, I like that it's self-aware. It does make fun of itself, and that gives it a different feel to the Disney one. I feel like there's a lot more in this for the adult viewer, just with the humour. It's nothing seedy or sordid. It's just, you know, things would go over a younger child's head. Not as scary. We do get some songs in this. Absolutely nothing compared to the Disney one. You know, the songs are pretty immemorable. But I actually wasn't expecting any songs. I wasn't expecting it to be slightly musical. I thought it would just be a straight up animated retelling of the story. So that was a pleasant surprise, I guess. In all, it is not bad. I won't say any more because I don't want to spoil it. If you like the story of Snow White, I'd say give it a watch. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Don't expect anything to live up to Disney's first ever feature film. But if you do like the story, I think you will be really pleased with his interpretation. Certainly I liked it. I'd be happy to watch it again. I found it quite funny. A lot funnier than I thought I would. It only has 4.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and I don't think that's fair. I think it's a lot better than that. Maybe not a 6, maybe 5.5. Really, really pleasantly surprised with it.